Matters shows for free a week. But if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications options. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatterspodcast1892@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for other men's. Hush now, city kids. When it came to me after so long, I didn't have no choices in the streets where I was from. When I think about the pain, I didn't have no choices, I took what I had sworn. Hush now, city kids, gather round for rubbing mints. Hush now, city kids. But you know, the wouldn't let you have it any other way.
Good evening, welcome to NUFC Matters, the Fans Forum, and it's a big welcome to George, Tom, Magnus, Pablo, Jeff, Martin, Darren, and you at home. Start of another week, and celebrations are well and truly over. Time now for getting back to business. 10 cup finals in the last 10 Premier League games to see whether Newcastle United can get better than Conference League football in Europe next season. But let's focus on the celebrations one last time with the lads for the first half of the programme. I'm going to come to you first, George. We made a big thing about, you being around in the 50s for the FA Cup wins and in the 60s for the Fairs Cup win, and subsequently for all of those trophy-less parades through the town where Newcastle fans were celebrating defeat with the teams. But that was something special on the weekend, George. And I mean, you and I, when we're having an exchange by text message, said, you simply said this: it's the best I've ever been to. George, give us your views and tell us how you saw the parade at the weekend.
Well, it was the best of all of the ones that I've seen, and that goes right back to the 1950 FA Cup win when I was remember as an 8-year-old sitting on my father's shoulder in Gallowgate, which was only 100 meters from where I took me videos in the Irish Centre that I posted, and it was brilliant. The only difference was the bus was going up Gallowgate to go to St James's Park, where this time the bus was coming down to go up the North Road to the town where. But you've got to compliment everybody involved. And people who thought that all that was done at the last minute are just being proved to be potty. That was well organised, well ahead of the event, well organised by the club, well organised by Northumbria Police, and hats off to the City Council. They did really do the trick and put things up on lamppost flags and all that sort of thing. It was well organised, and we can only just compliment everybody involved. And I'm still, when I think about it and I see look at my videos again, I still get the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end and on my arms as well. It's strange. It's not going to go away very easily. And why should it? I mean, Carabao, the people who sponsor that trophy, have never, I don't think, ever had that kind of publicity of any winning team. I don't care who they were. They have had 2 weeks of non-stop, top range publicity of our fans and of our club and everybody that's been involved. has given Carabao everything that they got, and they in terms of what sponsors like, they must be smiling from ear to ear today, because it's been absolutely fantastic, and it lays a lie to the Premier League's view of best value for sponsors. How could you put a value on all of that happened this weekend? The other thing I liked was that, as always, official estimates of crowds are always really conservative. And BBC TV, even this afternoon, said there was 150,000 came to the parade. There was more than 150,000 in bloody Gallagher, never mind to the parade. I mean, my guess is it was near 500,000 by the time you had all of it. The other thing I liked was the police really did police it sensibly and didn't set off to pull people out of trees and knock people off bus shelters and make office people shut their windows and get out of their offices because they were overhanging the parade. They let all that go on. All the silliness went on, and it just added to the whole thing. And I'm just absolutely thrilled. It was great. And then we had all the stuff on the town moor. Our sponsors, Seller, don't let us down, do they? They when they say they're going to do something, they really do it, and that was fantastic part of the whole thing. Other things I would just say to the lads before we started. Wasn't it great that our manager showed his class yet again? And in the midst of having all those stars on the stage, he goes and gets the club secretary and the kit man and all the people behind the scenes who would not normally be in the front row. Anyhow, made sure they got in the front row, and that just is a touch of class, and people can learn a lot from Eddie Howe. He's really thought about managing our football club, and he's managing it with style. So that was a great thrill. I couldn't have had a better view, as I said, because I was on the top of the Irish Centre, and you can see me videos if you've seen them on Facebook. When the bus went underneath me, I felt I was in the bus, and there was only a couple of us at the window getting waved at by Eddie Howe and all the rest of them. It was a great thrill. Couldn't be any better. And it just got better as it went on. The other thing they noticed that the police tried to stop people following the parade from Gallagher. They were trying to hold people back. Well, they just give up after a while. And of course, the people just joined on the back and all trailed after the bus all the way up to the town, which was, incredible, absolutely fantastic. I've seen lots of things. I've not seen anything I've enjoyed more than this weekend. I've got to be honest. It was really special, and it does me heart good and a bit emotional because my old dad went to 3 finals in the 50s and never had the money to go on a train or a bus. He had to hitchhike all the way there and hitchhike all the way home. And then for the parades, then put up with having to carry me on his shoulders to go and watch it. Fantastic, and then able to remember some of the things from those parades that were fascinating, which some people would have forgotten. The 55 one's an interesting one because not only and the parades then started at the central station. They didn't start at the football ground. They ended at the football ground so that the players could go around St James's and get the cup presented in the old wooden stand that used to be there. That's how it finished. But in the 55 one, we had the unusual thing that our chairman, Alderman McKeague, wasn't just chairman of the football club, he was also Lord Mayor of Newcastle. So he was determined to meet Joe Harvey off the train when it came from London. And he arranged for Newcastle Council to buy a red carpet, which they rolled out from the front of the central station right up to the edge of platform 3, where the London train comes in. And then expected the train driver to stop 200 tons of engine on a sixpence. And try as he might, when he put the anchors on, Joe Harvey, the cup, and everybody else went down because of the shudder, all went down the carriage onto their backsides. and all had to be dusted off to get them off the train onto the red carpet. But yes, this weekend was just another level, another class. And as I say, Carabao I'm sure the Carabao people would like us to win that cup every year, because they'll not get better publicity than they've had under that. I'll stop, because I could go on all hour, and the other lads want to speak. But fantastic, Steve. I think I said to you, it was just simply the best. The others could match it.
Okay, good stuff. Thanks, George.
This could match it. You're not going to get that in Manchester. You're not even going to get it in Liverpool.
Tom, you were in America, of course, after your trip to Newcastle. You obviously watched the final with excitement. But what was your feelings watching the city of Newcastle come out in force to celebrate the heroes?
Well, it brought a whole lot of pride to me and to all my fellow Toon fans around here. So I live in northern Wisconsin, in the middle of the forest on a lake here, and we go by the seasons. And so this weekend was maple syrup making weekend. So we get the sap from the syrup, we boil it off. So I wasn't able to watch it live. I came back in at dark, about 6 o'clock, and I watched it on YouTube. But when I walked in the door, because I was out in the woods the entire day, my cell signal came on, and I got 43 different texts from people that I've known across the U.S. Forget about other places, where I have touted Newcastle United for a long time, and the reason I got the text is because it made the international news. It made the news here, not only on the sports channels, but also on some of the networks with news. So this was, you could tell from looking at the video or from the text that I got, how much joy was shown by the fans of Newcastle, and how much, sports, we're a little cynical about sports anymore, but this is why you have sports. You have sports for this kind of joy, this kind of moment, and this kind of relation between team, club, and fans. And it was fantastic. So my wife and I came in, we watched all night. We said we were going to do a shot every time they sang a song. We were pretty blitzed by the first hour, because all the songs that were being sung by the fans and by the players. So I just want to say it was fantastic. And I think that this weekend was the best recruitment film ever made by thousands of YouTubers that took their own videos, etc. Because what person wouldn't want to play for a club like Newcastle United that is supported by the fans? What fans wouldn't want to be part of this? And I know just from Toon Army, Minnesota, we got a few new fans over the weekend, I think. So I just want to say I was really proud. I came in, we had a wonderful night, the wife and I watching all the videos. And I want to thank all the fans, because as George rightly says, and I can listen to George, Eddie's class, the club class, how this was done. I think we got the best shirt sponsor in the league, relating and bringing the fans along with us. But what I remember is just a few weeks ago when Philly won the Super Bowl, you have people, rioting pretty much in Philadelphia to celebrate the win. Now, the Geordies show how it's done, right? I think there was 2 minor arrests or something like that at a 300,000 plus people. And it was unmitigated joy. And it was so wonderful, I think, for the people and the fans and other players throughout the world to see why we all love Newcastle so much.
Yeah, great stuff. And I mean, that's the thing, George has mentioned it, the Carabao would be over the moon. Cellar, of course, played their part at the weekend. It was absolutely fantastic. Magnus, what was it like watching it in Iceland?
Oh, absolutely wonderful, man. It's just so nice to see all the joyous people and the young souls celebrating together like that. A deadlock of 70 years being broken, and if this is not something to build on for the future and keep our valuable blue chip players, what is? This is what it's all about. This is this is how we celebrate and get together. And I thought this was a joyous occasion to watch. And I especially enjoyed that band that was singing all the choruses, all the chants for the players. That was brilliant, man. All the give me, give me, give me, and I mean the Big Dan Burn song, and all the songs that I've known a little bit of the lyrics from, and haven't enjoyed it to the same level as at the stadium, but very nice to see the chants being sort of pulled out, and hopefully we can hear a little bit more of them on St. James's Park, because we do hear them away, but it would be nice to bring up a little more atmosphere. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, because this was a great organized event, and credit to everybody involved, and especially enjoyed watching Eddie Howe bringing up the staff members that don't always get mentioned. But as I say to all young people and people along the way, every job is important, and I'm very glad to see everything down to groundsman and kidsman being given his moment on stage. What a lovely occasion, and great not to forget about anybody. I mean, I'm sure they've all been celebrating it one by one. Obviously, good to see also Joe Linton celebrating with style in Brazil. That is typical Joe Linton, and I am so pleased, and I wish I would have been there with you. Eventually, I'll probably move over there. But from where I was sitting, it looked very joyful, and it wouldn't have been anything without the people. So thanks to all the people that showed up and made the players feel good, and for the players to make everybody else feel good.
Yeah, great stuff. Pablo, your feelings on the the bus parade? I guess you were gutted you didn't get the job to drive the bus.
I'm still waiting for a phone call now, mate. I'm always ready. I've always got my boots on, ready to go if they need me, mate. You know that. What a beautiful event. I mean, obviously the weather didn't help, but that doesn't matter when you're on Tyneside and you've won a cup. But I think one thing I would say is, I've just read a couple of comments coming up on the bottom there. I think the reception I've got off 98% of other football clubs' fans throughout us winning has been fantastic. I mean, I know we all have our banter and stuff, but I think generally the footballing fraternity has been very pleased for us, and they know what it means to the area. So I suppose a big shout out to all the fans for kind of getting it and getting who we are and where we've been. As regards the event, I think the beautiful thing to see as well is you could actually see the players just being the players and being who they are as lads. I mean, we see them all week long being professional on camera, saying the right thing, having to do the right thing. And it's nice to see lads just having a genuinely good time and celebrating with all the fans and every like the lads have said, everyone in the club, from kit men to tea ladies to little fans, big fans, whatever it may be. So I think when you watch something like that, I mean, I couldn't get there, but I don't think you get the magnitude of it until you start seeing the pictures of people just strewn in multi-story car parks and stuff and hanging out of offices, like George said. And I think really when you look at that, I mean, there's a tinge of jealousy that I'm not there, but I just think I'm just so happy for people to be able to witness that. And if you only witness it once in your life, we've done it, but it isn't. We're going to win plenty more. But I think the lads, I think the club again showed its class. George is right. I think it was policed correctly. There's been no real major reports of any issues or troubles, and I think it was allowed to play out exactly how it should be allowed to play out. And I don't think there was ever going to be any trouble. So yeah, it was just a cracking event, beautiful. There's one thing I have learned: it's a good job Bruno's a good footballer, because he cannot sing. Suggest that he carries on kicking that football. What else have I known? Next year, if we do win a cup, I mentioned it in our chat, I'd like it not to be filmed on a Nokia 3210 if possible. I think if we upgrade to an iPhone, we'd get a better view. But other than that, absolutely fantastic. But we out sounding like a killjoy. We're all going to say it in a minute. The weird thing about football is That's all turned off now. Now it's about Wednesday night. I mean, how harsh is that? Our celebration stopped now, and now it's about Wednesday night to get that Champions League football.
Yep, we'll look ahead to that in the second half of the show. Kev, you're dodging a tornado out there, but you've managed to make it onto the show. Hope you're okay, mate. What did you make of that? And of course, your mother must be over the moon as well. Being at the ground, I'm sure she's maybe had a chance to look at the cup already.
She did. She flew over last week, so she's here. So she didn't get to witness the parade itself, or she would have been working it. But anyway, she got a picture with the Carabao Cup. I put it in within one of our groups and stuff. So at least all the staff got to be there, get a picture with it and stuff like that. Who were behind the scenes, outside of the first team and things like that. So that was pretty nice of the club for them to do so. But sorry, my heart's racing. Like I said, dodging a tornado 6 miles away and things like that's quite unnerving. So sorry about my heart rate and a bit shaky a little bit. But what the lads have said previously, and I've said it last week, it was just proud to be a Geordie. It was just proud to be where I come from, and that was my home city representing itself in the best light it possibly could have done. And I agree with Tom when the Philadelphia Eagles won it. They were burning cars and, like you said, right, literally burning cars, and they won something. They won the biggest trophy in the world allegedly, but then they go and destroy the city. That makes no sense to me. So why can't we be joyous about it? But yeah, it was a fantastic day. I was working, but I watched it again on YouTube and watched it and skipped through some certain bits or whatever. But for the most part, it was just brought back lots of memories. Obviously, the 92, 93 parade at the Civic Centre, the 98, 99 years. So it brought a lot of happy memories, sad things, with my dad passing and things like that. And he would have been there anyway, or he would have been over here watching it. So there's a lot of emotion still flying around. But again, it was just a beautiful sight, another sea of black and white within the city, and pretty much shutting down our wonderful city. And so it's, again, like we said all along, this is just the start. And I agree with Pablo. We're not doing a big killjoys, but it's a football business, and we move on. And I think Eddie Howe hit the nail right on the head. 10 cup finals. We'll move on. We're 100% professional. We're going again, and I think the players understand that. I think the players it's clicked for them now. Okay, this is what we do when we actually win something, and this is what we actually do when we actually wear the shirt with pride and give everything you have. You've got this city fully behind you now. So let's go and win. I think we can go win these 10 games. I think we can get 30 points out the next 10 games. Why not? Why can't we do that? We're on the up. I know, Darren, you're shaking your head. I know. Sorry, but that's the positivity. What it should lead into. We should go on a run of like unbeatable. And play like we did against Liverpool. So, we'll just see what happens Wednesday, and it's going to be a great occasion for those fans getting into the stadium. I would expect a fabulous atmosphere.
Yeah, we shouldn't need any motivation as supporters for the next 6 home games. That's for certain. After what we've done in the last couple of weeks. Darren, you were down at the town moor nice and early. I had a decent spot up the front, mate. You sent us a couple of videos. We stuck them up on our TikTok account and our YouTube account. What was your feelings about the day at the weekend?
It was a great day. Like I said, the club done everything right. The parade from the stadium thing, the town moor was perfect venue. The only trouble is, once I got my spot, I couldn't go to the toilet for about 6 hours. So I'm not going to lie, come towards the end of the parade, I've never moved so fast to go to the toilet. Because if you move when you're there, you could never get your spot back. So, but it was a good day. Sheila was there. They got everything right. People have done that was there. I've seen pictures, watching the game. It's just ends. It's finished it now. It's been a good parade, and you've seen all the pictures on YouTube and all the photos we've seen on Facebook and social media. So like Eddie Howe said, it's back to realism now. We need to switch back to the game on Wednesday. I disagree. I don't think it's 10 cup games coming up massively. We've won Europe to just see how we can get on. like you say, I know which one is second up the show. I don't think it's 10 cup games. Like personally, I don't want to get 30 points. It's realistically, and being honest. So that's my view. So I'll get my to the next spot, Steve.
Okay, Martin, in Ireland, you'd already recovered from St. Patrick's Day. I bet you had a few Guinnesses at the weekend as well, did you?
Had a few, yeah, a few too many probably. God, yeah, what can I say? I think the first thing I'll say is to the likes of George and Darren and the lads that were there at the parade is I'm totally jealous of you lads. You just don't know how lucky you were to be there. And I watched it on YouTube via kind of Sky News.
Yeah.
And it brought a range of emotions. I think it was it like George said, the hairs was sticking up on the back of the neck and the hands, and I had a couple of little tears because I kind of put up on Facebook. I wish my mum had been around to see it, because the amount of times I went to St. James's and we lost, and she's saying, I don't know why you give up. And I said, one day, Mum, one day. And she wasn't around to see it. So I hope she was watching up there and watched the Geordie Nation do us proud. But it was good. I went out Saturday night because we said with the kids we'd bring ourselves out for an early Mother's Day treat. And we had just ordered dinner, and a bottle of champagne arrived at my table. And now I had obviously the wife dolled up and was all glam, and I put my black and white shirt on, as always, going out to represent. And I went, no, that's not mine. I ordered a Guinness. And they went, no, it's from the table over there. And when I looked across to me right, there was a table full of Scousers. And the lad came over and he said, can I just say something? He said, well, two things. I went, go on. And he went, one, if it was anybody else, I would have been gutted, but you deserved it. He said, and then I watched some of that on the news today. Can I just say, you lot are absolutely fucking mental. And that was all he said. So in fairness, he dropped a bottle of Moët on the table, a 100 quid bottle. And he said, enjoy that. And I would say for the 2.5, 3 hours up there, I had probably 3 or 4 pints arrive at the table from different lads that I didn't know at all, that bought me a pint and said, well done. So I think that was nice. It was good that people in Ireland, outside of the black and white section, obviously, majority of fans here are either Man United or Liverpool. So it was good to get that recognition, and I think to be sat at the top table at long last was enjoyable. So I think, look, the day itself was amazing. It made me miss home like mad. So I'm looking to get my next trip planned and try and get over before the end of the season. I'll certainly get home and just walk the streets and enjoy being back home. But I think, right the way through, as George said, to the town moor, to the people on the streets, to the lad on YouTube got filmed falling out of the tree. It was just us. It was just a day for Geordies. And I think it's something, even though I wasn't there in person, I'll never forget it. And I don't think any of us on this panel will, or the 300,000 that were there. So I'm very, very proud to be associated with all of you lads. I'm very proud to be associated with that team, and long may it live. And hopefully it's the first of many, as the owners have said. I think Darren and Kevin make good points about the next games. I think, look, it's in our own hands, and it always has been. We've got the capabilities to beat anybody. We showed that in Wembley. But we've also got the capability to slack off and lose a game that we shouldn't. So I think the mentality needs to be right. No doubts Eddie will have them back up for that. And if those same set of players turned up like they did at Wembley, then Kevin's right. We could win all of those games. But if we don't turn up with the right mentality and we think that the season's over, then Darren's right as well. We won't win some of those games. So let's go out on a high. I think, look, we've won a cup. I think whatever happens, it will have been a remarkable season. But to get that Champions League and fourth spot would really be the icing on the cake. So let's go for it. We've nothing to lose now. Let's go for that. We're not getting relegated. So let's just go out there, put our best foot forward, and let's go out and get as many points as we can. But yeah, day to behold and a day to live in the memory, lads.
100%. Before we go to the ad break, we'll go to the Twilight Zone now with Jeff. I'm never ever sure what I'm going to get from Jeff. Jeff, what did you make of the celebrations at the weekend?
Well, obviously, I watched it on the telly and on YouTube and a bit on Sky News, and I was dotting back and forth. And well, it wasn't a total surprise because the chairman leaked the details into my WhatsApp group. And I mean, it was there's been a few disturbances in the force. Paul Scholes being one of them. And I've already told you that I've done the joke that an anagram of Paul Scholes is fallacies. Anyway,
I thought you were going to come back with a new one this week.
I couldn't think of one. I'm too excited. I'm dyslexic, man. It's hard work. And I thought I was all cried out until I saw that huge banner. Where did they get that? I mean, probably Germany, but I mean, it was just staggering. And I've run out of superlatives to describe that drone display. What was that about? I've never seen anything like that. I have no idea how they did that. And I only saw one of them crash, which was pretty impressive. You know, I keep thinking I'm going to come out of the shower and it's all been a dream. You know, we'll go back to police dogs jumping through hoops of fire. You know, those were the days. And it was great to see out on deck doing their stuff. I was glad to see that one of them wasn't driving. And there's a great video out there of Tunali, right, on Cullercoats Beach, and he's got a dog. Okay. Anybody who's got a dog is all right in my book. And he said, who's going to be at the back of the bus? And he said, I'm going to be at the back of the bus. Who's going to be at the front? It's going to be Bruno. And it was. And he's got a fantastic grasp of English. They've taught him Geordie well. I must admit, he has a fantastic range of all the usual expressions that we're familiar with. And now that culture has been spread quite wide. And the last thing I'd say is poor old Tino. He seems to be worried about his hair. I don't know what was going on there, but he was desperately hanging on to his wig.
Was it his ears? Do you think he's got a problem with wind in his ears?
Oh, possibly. Yeah. That's a charitable way of looking at it.
Well, you do know if he wasn't going to be a footballer, he was going to be a hairstylist.
All right. So you learn something on. You do learn things on this program. Anyway, that's all I've got to say.
Very good, Jeff. As always, you didn't let us down. Thank you to all the lads for giving us their recollections of the weekend's events. We'll have a quick ad break. We'll be back after this.
A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at their website, skipsandbins.com. Contact them, www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. You can find them at their website, mrvickies.co.uk. Email them, info@mrvickies.co.uk. Or telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to our fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel. 3-star plus quality hotels, no interchanges, hot and cold snacks and drinks available on the coach, all excursions included. Their website, www.unitedgrouptravel.com. Email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com. Telephone 01670 632 460 or mobile 0791 666 4174. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet, and it's just £30 per person deposit. A big thanks to Media Arts for all the technical side of things. You can find them at their website, media-arts.co.uk. And if you listen to us on podcast, you can find us at Sport Social Podcast Network. You can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast providers. If you want to help the channel, you can subscribe to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button underneath this video, hit the thumb up, which is the like button, or join the channel. You can also visit our website, nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk, and take out a lifetime membership for £25, which gets you a pen, a badge, a key ring, a beer mat, a fridge magnet, and also your membership card and entry into the monthly draw. There's some Newcastle United events coming up. Friday the 23rd of January sees Chris Waddle and Peter Beardsley at the Tyne Theatre. Tickets available 0844 249 1000 or website Tyne Theatre and Opera House.uk. Some summer events to come up as well. An evening with John Beresford takes place at the Crown Plaza on Friday the 25th of July, 7:30 till 10:30. Tickets by hitting that QR code. And NUFC Matters end of season party takes place on the 27th of June. Steve Howie and Steve Watson will be in attendance and will be hosted by Joe Allen at the Tyneside Irish Centre. Tickets available from nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk or by going onto Voucher. And we are raising money for Age UK North Tyneside Dementia. On Saturday the 9th of August, Northern Horizon, the Blake 7 convention takes place at the Tyneside Irish Centre. Tickets available from nufcmatters.co.uk. Come along and meet the likes of Jan Chappell, Sally Navette, Brian Croucher and Sasha Mitchell. Don't forget as well, we have limited edition copies of The Entertainers signed by Peter Beardsley and Lee Clark. Available now from newcastlelegends.com.
Okay, Newcastle United take on Brentford at home in the Premier League this coming Wednesday. Thomas Frank brings the Bees to Gallowgate for a non-televised 7:45 kickoff. This will be the 8th time that the two clubs have met in top-flight competition. Newcastle have won 5 and drawn 1 of the first 6 before Brentford notched up their first success in West London last December. Eddie Howe's side sits 6th in the table on 47 points, with Brentford 6 points and 5 places behind, having played a game more. It's the second meeting of the two sides on Tyneside this season, following Newcastle's 3-1 success in the Carabao Cup quarter-final back in December. We'll get a bit more team news from Eddie Howe at the press conference tomorrow, but we do know that Anthony Gordon will be serving his 3rd and final game of his suspension, while Joe Linton is on 9 bookings, is 1 caution away from serving a 2-match ban, and Dan Byrne, who's on 8 bookings, is 2 games away from a similar fate. In order to avoid bans, they need to avoid reaching 10 yellows during the next 4 Premier League fixtures. Sven Botman and Lewis Hall remain sidelined following surgery, while injury victim Jamal Lascelles is nearing a return to the squad after a year since his last appearance. Early team news for Brentford: Fabio Cavallo, Aaron Hickey remain out, but Michael Coyote, Rico Henry, Matthias Jensen, Igor Thiago and Josh Da Silva could all return to the squad. Since a 2-1 defeat at Chelsea last December, Brentford are actually unbeaten on the road in the Premier League. They've had a 0-0 draw at Brighton, the wins at Southampton 5-0, Crystal Palace 2-1, West Ham 1-0, Leicester City 4-0 and Bournemouth 2-1. Referee tomorrow night is Peter Banks. On Wednesday night, is Peter Banks. It's his 3rd Toon Post of the season. He has taken charge of the 3-1 Premier League defeat at Fulham and the 1-0 Premier League home loss to Brighton. Just for a little bit of parity, Brentford have also lost both of the games that Peter Banks has taken charge of for them this season. And VAR, of course, is in operation with it being the Premier League, and Craig Pawson is in charge of VAR. Fixtures this week, we've got a full Premier League set of fixtures. Arsenal take on Fulham, Wolves take on West Ham, and Nottingham Forest take on Manchester United live on TNT, all on Tuesday night. Wednesday sees Bournemouth take on Ipswich, Brighton take on Aston Villa, Manchester City play Leicester, Southampton take on Crystal Palace, and of course, live on Sky on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, the Merseyside derby, Liverpool versus Everton. Chelsea then take on Spurs, and that's 8 o'clock live on Sky on Thursday night. So, George, back to business on Wednesday, and quite an impressive run of form on the road for Brentford. So it's not the easiest of games, but Newcastle should still be looking at getting 3 points out of a home game, George.
Yeah, and I fully expect that to happen. It will be a difficult game because Frank never puts a side out that doesn't try its hardest, and he's always got something up his sleeve. What I like about him is he's a manager that can change things around during the game to push the game his way, and not not be shy about doing that while the game's going on. And I like that from a manager, somebody that thinks like that. they will attack. They won't be sitting back and expecting to be 9 men behind the ball all the time. They will attack as much as we will, I suspect, and have the pace and the skill to catch us on the break if that be the case. So we're gonna need to be up for it. But frankly, if we're as up for it as we were at Wembley, then Brentford's ours for the taking, as far as I'm concerned. The atmosphere will be electric. I would be amazed if it's not. Whether there'll be any pre-match performance about the cup and presenting it and all that sort of thing, I don't know. I think the most likely thing is though that we may get clapped on the pitch by Brentford, which is the sort of thing that they do. I would prefer we just got on with the game and let them carry the cup round at the end if they want to carry the cup round. But let's get on with the game and show that we're back where we are. So I'm fully expecting Steve a win, a tidy win. Do you want to forecast or you?
Yes, please, George.
And we're going to win 2-0.
Good stuff. Okay, Tom, how do you see this one going?
This is actually the match that I worry most about. Will Newcastle be focused? You think they would? Think they would want to, but it's human nature when you're at that big of high to not be able, to not concentrate on what the task at hand is. I'm a little worried about it by that. I think Brentford's a good team. Mbuemo and Wissa are certainly the ones. They got a midfielder, I think his name is Shade, the German guy, 23.
Yeah.
Class. I tell you what, they have some good players, whether it's Pinnock or Ben Mee, I think is also good. So it's not going to be a walk in the park, I don't think. They're going to come to play. I think when we play Brentford, it's a very entertaining box-to-box match. And, they have players. With that said, I think the cream will rise to the top and Newcastle will prevail. But I think the first 20 minutes is going to tell the story. So I'm going to be really keen. I'd probably go down to Minneapolis, watch that with 2 Army Minnesota this week at a pub. And that first 20 minutes worries me a little bit. So we'll see if they can focus to the task at hand, be the professionals that we know that we are. And if that's the case, as mentioned, the cream will rise to the top and we'll sneak out a 2-1 win at home.
Okay, Magnus, how are you feeling about Wednesday's game?
I am feeling optimistic. We had a long time now to enjoy. We've had 2.5 weeks to, drink in the atmosphere. And then, this is the business end of the season. We have a quarter left of the season and we cannot slack off one little bit. I mean, I've already said we're going to get 25 out of the next 30 points. So we cannot afford to lose any points, especially at home. However, I respect like the rest of the lads. I respect Thomas Frank as a manager. He's done wonderful things for the club, and he's taken big risks on Danish players that have all become valid sort of squad members and showing their skills in the Premier League. I would like to see their second goalkeeper play a little more minutes, as he is the first ever Icelandic goalkeeper to play to start a Premier League game, and he's a bright young man. I would like us to try to make a bid for that guy as a backup keeper, since that we are collecting goalkeepers as well. Anyway, for me, I still feel we're going to win this game. Chest out. I mean, I was going to be going out for 2-0. And when I think about the players like Mbuemo and Wissa, I mean, they're really good attackers. But we've got Tino. I worried about this before the finals, and I'd like to see Tino Livramento battle those guys, and the rest of the guys in central defenders. Dan Burn, has to be in the form of his life. So I'm more excited than I am nervous at all, and I'm gonna say it's not gonna be quite a clean sheet. So it's a 4-2 for me. Convincing victory, but not without sort of a little bit of a shake in first half. So it's going to be 1-0 at halftime, 4-2 full time for me.
Okay, goals for Magnus. Pablo, how are you seeing this one?
It's very intriguing, isn't it? It's I'd say cautiously optimistic, but I think it's interesting on many levels. The fact that we've just come off a cup win, you know, we're expecting us to carry on that performance against Liverpool and go and steamroller Brentford. But whenever Brentford pop up in my mind, the same as I've mentioned on the show before, Brentford, Bournemouth, Brighton, there's always that thing on the side of my head that said these guys are a good outfit, you know, and their form suggests a good away from home. Tom's stolen my thunder a bit. I really like that player Sade. I'd like, to be fair, to see him at our gaff at some point. But I think you're right. The first 20 minutes will determine where we are mentally. I think more now than ever we need to come out on fire in the first 20 minutes to kind of dispel that notion of, oh, we've won a cup and we'll settle. There's no reason why we can't go and beat them. There's no reason why we can't actually go and deliver a handsome win like we did in the cup. But I think, like I said, them teams worry me at the best of the times. And I think I'm just as intrigued as you guys are to see how we come out of the blocks. But I think, do you know what? I'm going to go for a 2-1 win.
2-1 win. All right.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Sorry about that. Going to be a difficult game, physical game, because that's what Brentford bring. They're very, in a way, direct in the play off the second ball underneath. And then attack with pace from there on a counter-attack, essentially. I know they'll probably looked into our success against Liverpool in very fine detail in terms of how we're going to play, because that's just from another side from my work that I know that what they do. So again, it's the Premier League game. You know, this is your bread and butter, and like Martin said earlier, it's your mentality going into this. We can not push the cup to the side. That's done and dusted. We've got it. Let's move on and use that as an encouragement to move forward. But it's going to be tight. I don't think it might be many goals in it. I think it could be a goal either way. But I think, and I agree with Tom, the cream will rise to the top. I think regardless, Newcastle wins. Newcastle win at the end of the day. But I'll go with Tom. I'll go 2-1.
2-1. Darren, are you being positive tonight?
Always positive, Steve. I don't think Brentford are a good team. They'll play better than they did in the cup game. For the cup game, they didn't turn up at all. I look at anybody say that they didn't want to win in the League Cup game, so they had the intention of winning. So it'll be a better team up on Wednesday night. And talent-wise, it's not rocket science. Everybody knows how Newcastle plays. We not be looking at the Liverpool game because our task was against Liverpool, not Brentford. But I think that anyhow we'll let the players know. He'll make sure the players are up for it. But he'll make aware. He's a very clever manager. Even like parade, it was me drinking. Anyhow, told him no drinking. They were trained on Sunday morning. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, Wednesday, all trained every morning this week. So anyhow, we're making sure that getting forward, so the mentality will be right. But on the other hand, they're a good team, Brentford. They haven't won 5 games on the top of nothing. So it'll be a hard game, but I do fancy a win. I fancy a 2-1 win. I'm going to go for Barnes' first goal.
All right, good stuff. Everyone seems to be confident about a win. Martin, how are you feeling about Wednesday night?
Yeah, I think most of the lads have said everything. I think it's a tough game. I think they're a really good team. I like Thomas Frank. I think he's a good manager. What you don't want is for the first game you've got at home after parading the cup is for someone to come and burst your bubble and you walk away with a defeat. So I think that mentality is, as Kev said, I said it before, I think that mentality's got to be right. If you're a player in a black and white shirt, I mean, surely you're on a high. You've just won the biggest game of your life and stood in front of 30,000 or 300,000 on a stage, fulfilling your childhood dreams. So if you're not confident going into this game on Wednesday night, lads, then there's something wrong with you. So I'm confident enough. I think we'll do a job. I don't think it'll be a straight walk. So I think we will. They've got the likes of Mbeumo and players that can hurt us. And they are a good team attacking wise. They're strong. They're pacey. They get stuck in. But I'm gonna throw it out on a limb. I'm gonna go with a penman. I fancy Newcastle to win 3-1.
Yeah, that's what I've gone for. 3-1 as well. Jeff, final word for you tonight.
Well, in Eddie we trust, really. I'm sure Eddie and, Mad Dog and Jonesy as well have got to be considered. I'm sure they'll come up with a plan. I'm sure they've thought about it. And if any of the players aren't in the right state, we'll have them an ice bath before the start. That'll wake them up. I'm in for 3. Either we'll win 3-0 or we'll get 3 points. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, they're not that good, Brentford. Not really.
Good stuff. Good stuff, lads. Thanks very much for taking the time to come on, as always. We'll be back to business, of course, on Wednesday. Looking forward to that. Tuesday night, I will have Talk of the Tune back at 6 o'clock. Big thank you to Jeff, Martin, Darren, Kevin, Pablo, Magnus, Tom, and George. Take care. See you later, lads.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, lads.
See you, lads.